Samantha Drugel.
And I'm Chancey Boyce. Welcome to the 24th fully live broadcast of Lotus Leaf Live, here remotely from our own homes, where we'll be broadcasting the news every Friday.
This week, we'll be delivering several important school announcements, interviewing our athletic director, Dr. John Ray, about spring sports, and discussing Women's History Month.
Today is Friday, March 26th, 2021, and this is Lotus Leaf Live. On Sunday night, Monroe High School families received a call informing them that on account of a high number of quarantined students, this week would take place remotely just like the majority of the year was. According to the district, it is anticipated that in-person learning will return as usual on April 12th after spring break has concluded.
Students, the administration would like to remind all parents to notify Monroe Public Schools if any of your children test positive for COVID-19. If you have a student who has tested positive for coronavirus, please call 734-265-3030 to report the case.
The senior class officers and advisors want to confirm that prom is still occurring despite the recent shutdown. Tickets will be available soon to be purchased online after spring break. Graduation is also still being planned to occur outside. Stay tuned for more information.
Monroe Public Schools recommends being tested before going back to school if you participate in a large social gathering during spring break. If you would like to be tested, a drive-through testing is available at Dundee High School on Saturday, April 10th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Governor Whitmer has confirmed that on April 5th, the COVID vaccine will be available for all adult individuals 16 years of age or up. Check out www.michigan.gov/COVID vaccine to schedule an appointment at a local health department.
The Monroe News has released Monroe High's list of all A honor roll students. We are very proud to say that this is one of the largest lists in Monroe's history. If you would like to check it out, visit Monroe High School's Facebook page. At the MPS board meeting, it was stated that there are over 200 students on the A honor roll and B honor roll.
Because the Monroe High School was forced to return to remote learning on account of the pandemic, the spring sports season, consisting of track and field, baseball, and other sports, was postponed for a week before opening back up yesterday, March 25th. Here with more information on that is Monroe High's athletic director, John Ray, or as he's better known, D. Ray. Thank you for coming very much. How are you doing this morning?
Good, Chancey. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's great to have you here. So right now I hear we're wrapping up our winter sports season. How is that going?
Oh, it's going great. The girls ended their basketball season on a high note in terms of their efforts. They've come a long way. Boys, as many of you know, are in the district finals on Saturday here at 5 o'clock in our gym. And we've got a boy that's still in the districts for regionals for wrestling, and we have 3 kids that are in the state meet this weekend. We got Jackson Tapp, the swimmer, swimming 2 events. We've got Natalie Eagle that's in the girls singles bowling meet, and we've got Nick Walters who's in the boys singles state meet. So we've got a good group, and not to mention Brooklyn Figueroa finished 4th in the girls state meet on Sunday.
That's all great to hear, and it's very exciting to have Monroe High athletes doing so well. So moving on to spring sports, which was postponed for most of this week before opening up yesterday on the 25th. How was the decision made to both shut down and then open up yesterday?
Wow, it was our superintendent, Dr. Everly. She believes in following the science, and the science said that we should be down because we've had so many kids affected. But the good news is that the coaches all rallied and got together, and we put together some mitigating practices and procedures that we're going to move forward with. And we feel we were able to open safely yesterday for tryouts.
That's good to hear. So What precautions, as we're of course returning to tryouts, what precautions do members of our spring sports teams have to take as they're returning to practice?
Well, per the Michigan High School Athletic Association, we're going to COVID test every middle school and high school athlete once a week. We have uploaded to Final Forms the forms necessary for the parents and the students to sign. And so when they come to their turn, if their page is red, I can't test them. If it's green, we can test them, but they must test in order to participate. And that'll be from now to the end of the school year. We're going to test 3,000 athletes or times with athletes between the middle school and the high school. But we're also going to offer the testing for kids at the high school that want to get tested during the day, but they'll also have to fill out the forms with their parents.
I see. So I know a lot of athletes count on this season. Well, before we move on to that question, I want to ask first, if a student does test positive on a team, what happens?
The entire team will be quarantined for 14 days, providing that student was around their teammates. So that's the danger of this. If one kid puts out, we just lost in our conference, we just lost 2 real good basketball schools that cannot compete for the state title because they were exposed to COVID. So it happens.
I see. Yeah, so that's what fed into my next question. I know a lot of athletes count on this season for scouting and scholarships. How is that affected?
Well, it's affected. I think there will be less colleges traveling. But let me say this about seniors. If you get your SAT scores, you have good grades, and your attitude is correct, there's places for you to play. Any of our kids that do well in high school in athletics, there's colleges looking for kids. It's not necessarily going to be a free ride or a full ride, or maybe it's tuition assistance and this, that, and the other, but there's plenty of kids that can go on and further their athletic career if they choose to.
I see. So you mentioned good grades and good SAT score and good behavior and that sort of thing. Could you elaborate a little bit on what that means?
Well, good grades that's pretty logical, but the good attitudes and being a good kid. So let's say that I want to go to a school and the school wants me. I send them a film or they talk to my coach and, hey, they want me to come and play for them. They have a team of people that search kids' social networks. So if they've got a kid, if I'm that kid that's always posting negative things about my teammates or my school or other people or making comments about this, that, and the other politically, there's a good chance that these colleges are going to pass on these kids. They just don't want to be around all the negativity that happens.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Before you go, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about nfhsnetwork.com. Could you elaborate a little bit on what that is?
That's a network that we've associated ourselves with, along with a lot of members of our school. So anything moving forward that's in our gym, all the sports there, and anything that's at the football field, including track and field, will be live streamed. It's a subscription service. You can pay a monthly fee or you can pay an annual fee, and you can watch any of the activities that are going on in our facilities. And when we travel to the other schools, most of our schools that we're playing now have the same network. And it's really exciting that on a Friday night that's rainy outside or a track meet and it's raining and we're still running, that the parents can sit home and watch their kids participate.
That's great to hear. Well, thank you very much for coming on, D-Ray. It means a lot to us. Have a great weekend and a great spring break.
Thanks, Chauncey. Go Trojans.
All right. Well, now here's Delaney with the sports update.
I'm Delaney Setzler here with your sports update. Tryouts for girls soccer took place yesterday and continue to take place today from 4:30 to 6:30 at Custer Fields. Baseball tryouts for both varsity and JV started yesterday, and freshmen will begin on Saturday. For the full tryout schedule, visit Monroe Trojans baseball program on Facebook. Girls interested in tennis, practice will start on Monday, March 29th from 2:30 to 4:30. Track practice will start on Monday from 3 to 5 at the track. All athletes must have a valid physical to participate. Now here's what you missed this week. This Saturday, Megan Kane represented Monroe at gymnastics regionals. She placed 9th on beam, 13th on bar, and 11th all around. Congrats, Megan. This Monday, girls varsity basketball competed in districts against Gibraltar Carlson. The girls won 50-32, moving on to the next round of districts against Bedford High School on Wednesday. The girls fought in a close game with a score tied in the third quarter, but eventually lost in the final with a final score of 63-51. This Tuesday, boys varsity basketball also competed in districts against Bedford High School. The boys played an amazing game. Junior Gabe Sweat scored a career high of 20 points. Corbin Guyman individually scored 15, and Xander Middleton scored 10. They continued into play yesterday against Woodhaven. The boys won 39-30. A handful of students individually qualified for state competition that will take place this weekend. We would like to congratulate and wish the best of luck to senior Jackson Taft in swim, juniors Natalie Eagle for girls bowling, and Nick Walters for boys bowling. Senior Brooklyn Figueroa, who has qualified now 3 years in a row for wrestling, placed 4th on Sunday. That's all for sports. Back to you, Sam.
March is Women's History Month. Here to give us a bit more information about the meaning of Women's History Month is our very own Maya Kasperzak. Take it away, Maya.
What's up, everyone? It's Maya, and March is Women's History Month. In 2021 alone, we've already made so much progress. During Women's History Month, it's really easy to highlight women like Susan B. Anthony, Rosa Parks, and Eleanor Roosevelt. Now, although these are amazing and trailblazing women, we have to keep in mind that we are making women's history right now. So in celebration of Women's History Month, I've invited all of the women on Lotus Leaf staff to talk about what it's like to be a woman in journalism while also writing what will later be in the next generation's history books. Take a look.
I would definitely say that my experiences as a woman in journalism have impacted or shaped my worldview and definitely represent everyday life for women. It's 2021 and you are still far less likely to see a woman in media than a man, whether that be TV, news, radio, print, anywhere. The underrepresentation of women in media is just one example of many struggles that women face every day just because they're a woman. Gender stereotypes are still very much real and impact so many job fields everywhere, especially journalism.
Journalism is about representing the people, including women, and about giving those people a voice. In my opinion, the most important part is being able to draw attention to certain issues. Like for example, back in 2017 when the Me Too movement started, because you would look on the news every day and almost like see a woman speaking out against sexual violence in her workplace. So I think that's the most important part, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
My experience in journalism has exposed me to lots of women through interviews I've done, that my students have done. I teach English and English literature, and I do ancient cultures and throughout time. And it's only the last 100 years that women really have started to gain that voice. And, you know, that sounds like such a long period of time, but in the grand scheme of things, when we're talking thousands and thousands of years of not having that voice, it's really a short amount of time. And it's amazing the progress that has happened. It's super important to stop and just pause and think about where we all are in the bigger picture of things, and just kind of remember the people that have come before us so that we get a better understanding of who we are and where we're going.
I think it's important to have women in journalism to get different perspectives, and it's a way for our voices to be heard, and so we can make sure to cover both sides of the story and get women's voices out there.
As a female journalist, I always want to try to amplify women's voices through my writing. So whether that's an editorial story and I'm using the ideas from other inspirational women to influence my opinions so that way I can write something very credible and very notable, or I'm using sources from women in my features or news stories so that way the women's voice is heard, it is very important for me to make sure I'm amplifying those women's voices. I especially try to do this in anything that I'm doing that involves a male-dominant field. So whether that is politics, sports, or a business field, it's very important for me to make sure that the women's voice is heard. We've come such a long way as journalists to make sure that the women's voices are heard, and I think we still have a long way to go. But I'm very excited for the progress that we have made and all the progress that we're going to make in the future.
Thank you to everyone who participated in the Lotus Leaf celebration of Women's History Month. Keep in mind that despite the amazing progress that has been already made by the incredible women who come before us, there's still a long ways to go before reaching complete equality. Uplift all women, check in with each other, and remember that an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. Tell your mom, your sister, or your grandma that you love her. Happy Women's History Month.
Thanks, Maya. Our very own Megan Kane is back at it again with another cooking segment. Because we can't feature the entire package in our broadcast due to time constraints, here's a short trailer to give you a taste of what she's cooking up.
Hi, I'm Megan Kane, and today I'm narrating my trip to Trader Joe's where I try their most popular items according to social media. Want to give it a taste?
I certainly do.
All right. Oh, he's going for it.
A little spicy. Warm.
There's no spice in this.
Taste it.
Recently, Lotus Leaf announced a Trojan Outfitters store where students who need it can purchase clothes and other accessories. Here with a closer look is our very own Drake Carr.
Could you tell us a little bit about Trojan Outfitters?
Sure. So Trojan Outfitters has gone through a lot of different names. It's been called the Clothing Closet, the Closet, MHS Closet. We adopted Trojan Outfitters kind of so students would associate it with the Trojan Outfitters that is at middle school. The beautiful room we now have was done by the work of the Monroe Rotary Club. They came in this summer and they did painting, they built all the dressing room you see, they provided us with all the fixtures you see, all through donations through them. All the items we have available for students to take are donated. So they're donated by community members, other students, Monroe High staff. We get donations from all over the place. The one thing we always tell people when they're making donations is to make sure the clothing they provide is school appropriate and clothing that obviously teenagers would like to wear. We have shoes available. We have toiletries available. We also have a pretty good selection of prom dresses available with prom coming up. And we do have graduation gowns for people who might need those. We also have a lot of Monroe High gear, spirit wear, things in Monroe High colors. A lot of that was donated by Monroe Rotary Club and is brand new condition. So if you're needing some of that, come see Trojan Outfitters. All the toiletries, clothing, shoes, everything we provide at Trojan Outfitters is free to all Monroe High students. Trojan Outfitters is currently open, so students can come up and use the store, as we're calling it, now. We do plan something special this spring, getting a little closer to prom, having a special grand opening and kind of really showcasing some of our items we have for prom.
Is there going to be like hours for Trojan Outfitters like it is with the Trojan Den?
Unfortunately, we don't have the staff to really have hours open. It's open all the time, and simply all a student needs to do is come up to the Student Services Center and talk to one of the student service providers, which would be myself, Mrs. Stoner, and Ms. Clark, and we can take you right into Trojan Outfitters.
Thanks, Drake. That's all we have for you today. Remember, you're not alone. Try to remain positive and stay informed. We won't be broadcasting next week due to spring break, but stay tuned in 2 weeks when we'll be back on the air.
We will continue to keep our social media website updated during these fast-changing times. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media at Lotus Leaf Live. You can read the full stories and more on our website, lotusleaflive.com. I'm Samantha Drugel.
And I'm Chancey Boyce. We hope everyone is staying safe, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for watching.